Power to the people, power to the people. So, I'm trying to reply, of course, to some comments, and this has been going on for the past few years. Obviously, somebody is hired to be on top of me, targeting me, right? So when I sit here and write anything, it's always being deleted. So this is a threat to our freedom of speech, people. If you don't want to fight for freedom of speech now and freedom of press, boo, because it is our constitutional right, the very foundation that, the oath and the foundation that this country was built and founded on, because of the forefathers who obviously fought for your freedom. No. Can we agree that these aren't the same Masons? These are fake Masons, because they don't even believe in the principles that they supposedly are supposed to be walking. And this is where I have to ask them, what happened to the good side? Did you flip that part too? Because at that point, you're not a balanced pillar. So this is illegal, what you're doing. You're trying to create events and situations to try to make it fit your narrative. The topic was people blaming Trump, blaming Biden. Okay, let me educate y'all on how this fucking game works. They're all part of the secret society. They're all in the occult. They're all, been initiated. And they're all pre-picked ahead of time. When your government got taken over by the 13 families, right? The Federal Reserve, which was the reason for your Constitution. Because I think the forefathers already knew this. They dealt with these powers before, right? Federal Reserve, as well as military-industrial complex, right? They've always been fighting for position of state, just like the church, right? Because a long time ago, the church used to be the state. How are these all correlated? In the Bible, it tells you we are at war with principality, which is governed. It's those who are governing this world. So that would be your leaders, right? And of course, religion stands for legion, alliance of the fallen angels. And we're not even going to get into those are the 7 main principles that you should be following, because the 7 churches or the 7 religions have been all watered down and, broken down into bullshit. So anybody trying to get information right now, you have to go to its original source in order to get its authenticity. If they sat here and flipped your knowledge, including the Bible, to all I love you, my church, and I love you, Christians, and I love you, but you don't understand the schism. And this is why if you read Revelation, it tells you that you cursed yourself because of tampering knowledge, You lost the rights to the tree of life because of that. So this is about war of bloodline. These are draconians and reptilian bloodlines, demonic bloodlines. They keep position of power, right? Because they breed amongst each other, and basically they always get to inherit the position automatically. They give you the illusion of freedom of choice to choose by making it seem you have the right to vote. But if you notice, they always pre-pick the candidates. This is where the government initially was ran by the people, and it was for the people. And the people should have a say on what candidates they even want to pre-pick to begin with. They should have a say. But to sit there and act like we really don't have an option, and then the option you've given us we not really happy with, no. Donald Trump, uncle, took Tesla's machine. So he obviously time traveled. He made his shelf relevant. This is why they don't like time traveling, because you can sit here and go in and out of timelines and change Make sense? There you go. So, boo, No, Trump ain't gonna save you, boo. He's just fulfilling prophecy. Their blueprint is revelation. So, if you understand that, Biden does not have the power to change your world, boo. He's a puppet on a string. He's being controlled by a whole team of motherfuckers like the wizard. If 13 families came and bought out legislation and laws and were able to sit here and rig systems, including take out Hippocrates' oath, which was your human rights when you go get medical services, it's supposed to guarantee that the doctor is going to practice ethically. No, doctors don't practice ethically, right? Right? And I'm going to speak to my old doctor who sat there and sold me out as well. And there's no telling if Miss Dr. Holmes, as well as what was her name that y'all sent me to the psychic fair, where obviously you had me targeted and gang stalked, because again, all these people in society, whether it's a therapist, whether it's, all these structures are being controlled. They're all being controlled, boo. So when people really trying to come out here and make some changes, we cannot make changes because we don't have people in the system on board, because they was already infiltrated. If you notice, any president who attempted to make some changes was murdered, cloned, or replaced, or not even at this point validated. Okay? So they need puppets, actors that they will fulfill the agenda, which is New World Order. They all have the same agenda. Doesn't matter if it's the right or the left. This is why I told you it's the same imperial dictator, tyrannical bird of the Roman Empire. This is why America is represented by an American eagle, because initially the forefathers was going to use turkey. And in Native American culture, the turkey symbolized the American warrior. It's kind of funny they used to call me the turkey when I was little, because I was born on Thanksgiving, even though I was supposed to be born on Christmas. I was a month premature. So there's correlation to the turkey, and then there's a correlation to the sacrifice of y'all killing turkeys every year, which means you people will sacrifice your American warriors who are here to stand up for you, bro. It's subliminal. It's all subliminal. It's all ritualistic in nature. It's all set up a certain way. Okay? So if you have other entities who sit here and really, really run the show, right? When y'all call it the snake, who was the snake? Really? If we were to interpret who would be the snake in this garden, it would be the Federal Reserve. Makes sense? When Rockefeller came in, he sat there and pretty much rewrote and created institutions. He created your school of thought. He sat there and created your medical system, even though it was the Medici, but he just restructured it. So Rockefeller is nothing to be praised, honey. Okay? He sat here and created AIDS in the lab and to depopulate black people and scapegoat gays. They sat here and created divide to conquer through belief systems by even giving you false information and indoctrinations. So I'm sorry, boo. If you people don't have your own back, you are so easily swayed and manipulated to believe the lie. And this is why the Roman Empire would perform gladiator games and entertainment and sports and false flags and all these things in order to distract the people while they were sitting here changing laws, signing with Bilderberg, as well as the WHO, as well as United Nations and the globalists. So they've already sold you out long time ago. They're just fulfilling, what their duties. When I sat there and got into Bilderberg meetings, which they've been doing since the 60s, since after World War II, your own American government hired Nazi scientists and engineers. You would have thought America would have put these people in prison for what they did for their war crime. No, you know what they did? They sat there and said, teach me. Show me what you do. And then you wonder why they reenacted through the ghetto. Okay. So we're already in a concentration camp. You just kind of don't notice it yet. because they're building it as we speak. So, yeah, once the whole point with Obama and all these other people, because I think it was through Obamacare that they approved the RFID chip through your medical system. This is why they're trying to use the medical as a tool to get you to buy out into this thing. This is why Fauci was at the forefront of all the viruses, even though he's a lying fuck. And no, honey, Trump ain't gonna save you, or no offense. He's just one of them too. He's a 33-degree Mason. He's a MAGA. Mangus magician. So you have to be part of a certain secret society. They're all related. This is why they inherit the power amongst themselves. The illusion that you have freedom of choice, vote, speech. This is why they're attacking anybody who promotes Constitution, because they know that that is the only thing that stops these people from being able to completely take your rights and throw you in a fucking prison and make you a slave where you would have to labor with no pay. And that's their goal, like they did in Egypt, okay? Build their smart grid, and then they toss you and get rid of you. So, same structure. If you want to sit here and worship pyramids, honey, those are fake Merkabahs that they use to activate a fake light grid in order to even take over the grid system. And this is how people were able to lose their memory, as well as like it created a reaction, right? And then we almost had to restart history in a certain sense. Yeah. So, you know, everybody that I've dealt with played a role in coming up against me because they knew the anointment or the purpose on my life. The fact that the CIA had to sit here and play Truman Show in order to deceive me and keep me stuck so I wouldn't get to the truth of things. It's the very reason why the game is rigged. These people don't play fair. So Masons, what happened? If you're supposed to be balanced in your duality, you sitting here taking the good and flipping that too. There is no fair chess game, is it? It's no fair chess game because you're sitting here bribing people, you're compromising them, you're cloning them, you're replacing them. You will murder anybody who's really for a purpose. This is why all your leaders are compromised. People say, well, Martin Luther King was a Mason. Okay, so Gandhi got compromised just like Mother Teresa. So you dig, we look at these people like, oh, they're so great, but everybody got bought out by this fucking bullshit ass system. So when people really, why? Because that's what they do. They know when people come here to make a change, and they have to change that. That's why they take us out, they make us crazy, put us in a loony bin, right? Sit here and create stories, try to frame motherfuckers, right? It's a game. It's a chess game. It's a position of power and authority. Government is for the people, by the people. So people should definitely have a say when it comes down to who they're electing as their choices, okay? As far as pre-picking. But if you're only being able to pre-pick out of a pool of not so great options, again, these are actors. And this is why the Mason call this a play. They say they're actors, and honey, at the end of the day, they all have dinner and they discuss business as usual. In your face is the illusion that, yes, you have choice and that they have different, they believe in the same thing. So it didn't matter who you were going to pick. Their goal is the chip, RFID chip. Once they plug you in this matrix, you will no longer be able to be released or free. They can also control you and track you. And that's the point of your phone. Your phone is spyware track device. It collects data and algorithms in order to literally, they already get an understanding. It's like you are giving them information. And this is war on info. So if they're sitting here collecting your DNA, they're obviously creating germs like eugenics, because Rockefeller was very much in eugenics, just like Bill Gates. So it doesn't matter if it's Bill Gates, Rockefeller, this person, the Nazis. It's like they're all on board with the same shit. Okay? They're all Nazi bloodline, honey. Okay? Okay. So when your government is sitting here taking the ideas, the military, all this shit, and they're illegally experimenting on you like a guinea pig, and then want to sit there and create like a gaslight effect in order to get an outcome to steer society in a certain direction so they can sway your opinion and also trigger your emotions. So, this is the social prediction that we're talking about on a CIA massive level. Okay? It's a conspiracy. I don't give a fuck what you call it. You need to see it for what it is. This is right now. We need to really, really hurry up and fight for our fucking freedom of speech, because they already took out your right to bear privacy when they sat there and did 9/11, which was an inside job. Bush was doing oil dealings with bin Laden for 30 years. Their family was very close, and bin Laden was escorted on a government jet out of this country when we were attacked. Why did they do that? To take your right to bear privacy. Once they could do that, they can see who is who and attack those who are obviously they knew was here to protect this country. And also the ability to be able to influence others, right? Sway their opinion. So, no, our Constitution is very important. Last time I checked, if anybody had to be a real Mason, it was them, because they believed in light principles. And we're not going to get into the snake that slivered his way in the garden and try to take the tree by giving people fake knowledge. So who would be that? Who's that snake? Is it the cabal? Is it the, is it NASA? Is it, is it CERN? Is it, it's all of them. It's all these powers that, are on the top. And that's why I said these are pre-picked candidates. So they're just puppets, boo. You sitting there distracted, getting mad at somebody who at the end of the day does not have the power to change anything or sway anything. This is why Trump's illusion to make it seem like he's here to save you only confirms that he is the Antichrist. And you really think he's your savior? I'm sorry, Jesus Christ is your savior. Yahusha is your Lord and Savior. Okay? Okay. So, no. I don't need no chip. And I don't need no artificial intelligence, because the all-seeing eye is the way they're able to monitor you. The revolution will not be televised. You're not going to see it on TV. You won't be able to screenshot it. This ain't no clout chasing, bro. This is for fuck real. Anybody want to sit here and play fucking roles and act like they're somebody, bitch, because they're self-centered and idolatry and vanity? Honey, they got to your head already, because you are ran by Luciferian principle. To thyself be true. Aleister Crowley indoctrinated all your sect of society. And we can't say Aleister Crowley even really knew his shit. So you're not even given the correct code, Satanist. You lack foresight and knowledge. That's why I said you don't even know your own fate. But you sat there and wrote the story. Did you write the story? Is it really your story? Is it his version or hers? Or are we here to really write our own story? So no. You see that every president was pre-picked on purpose. They're all related somehow. They all promote the same agenda. Don't matter if it's right or left. Same evil imperialistic bird. And once again, they used to call me the turkey. So I'm the warrior. I'm the volunteer. I came to help America, man. We are a model country where a lot of countries can actually follow suit. If we could only free her under the suppression of Babylonian, Roman Empire, Egyptian type hierarchy structures. These are obviously narratives, but it's like you keep repeating the same story. So it's like having to break a spell here. Okay? And that's through spell casting. This is why television tell lies. It's a form of black magic. It's a form of programming. This is why all this shit came from the Nazis, boo. They're only repeating, and that was called Project Paperclip. That's why y'all get into that shit. Then it starts to all make sense. It starts to all make sense, boo. Agenda 21 was about depopulation, so they can get to 2030, which was smart grid, AI, and then by 2070 they want to create just people that are super soldier military, where they can sit here and then take over the galaxy. This is why they trying to break the firmament. And this is why we got aliens on the sideline ready to kick your motherfucking ass if you want to play dirty. Because the only way you'll be able to intergalactically federate with the rest of the universe is if you as a human fuck race would get along with each other. And this is why racism is a narrative that they keep alive, because it's not the war on racism, it's the war on classification, and it's also the war on bloodline. So they're the ones only playing Monopoly, Battleship, Game of Thrones, right? They're the ones playing the game. It's their fucking game. You're not gaining shit. Okay? So you kept these people in power by giving them rights to your life. This is why Benjamin Franklin told you, you don't deserve neither. If you were willing to trade your freedom for your needs, honey, you're a dumbass. So that's the snake we talking about. Okay? So no, our Constitution was to protect us against Federal Reserve, which now they sat here and control now even your health, your living. They have a say over everything, right? Like they're your God. And then they're at war with military-industrial complex. You see, there's all these different powers that are at war for position. And just like, again, religion. So, this is Star Wars. We know the story. Or do you really know the story? Because they don't tell you much. They just control your narrative. And then you were born into already MK Ultra programming. So you was already born into the lie. You was already taught how to think, and thus, including controlled on how to make choices with the illusion that there's choices. By giving you only two options. That doesn't look like a choice, or that doesn't look like free will at all. So you're not even giving people a choice. You're forcing them to join your organization by giving them bribes, by compromising them, by trying to get them sexually, exploited, right? That's why I said through corruption, through compromise, through bribes, they sit here and get people to go along. And this is why it's designed the way it is. And this is the whole thing with P. Diddy, where he sat there and had all these tapes on people. I mean, this is why they do what they do. P. Diddy's a CIA Fed informant, dog. So for him to even get away with the shit he was doing as long as he has, they knew what he was doing. But again, when they play power chess, they use these things against you. They need something that they can blackmail over your face so you will go along with their shit. And this is why when you join these things, they make you go through these initiations and make you go through all this shit. You see? But this is where I gotta tell them, if you're supposed to be playing chess, where's the good guys? If the good guys got compromised and bought out. Okay? So no, this ain't a fair game. It's not fair game. None of that. Freedom of speech. They trying to take that away from you too. They trying to take right to bear weapon when they can take the right to bear weapon by creating enough violence that you will be scared and just say, okay, let's do gun rights. You know, now they can martial law you. They can actually come in your house and take you and put you in a camp. If you don't want to take the chip, if you don't want to take a jab, if you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, they can sit here and just turn off your chip, honey. They can control your behavior, because then, like a remote control, like a Stepford wife, they can literally control people. This is why you're eating metal. This is why they chemtrail. I mean, like, don't you see? Don't you people see, bro? Like, it's right in front of you. They even tell you. So, no. I should be able to write a message, because if you sit here trying to control people's speech and swayed their opinions, that means that there is no free will and there's no fairness. And there always has to be at least different sides where people have a choice. And this was my battle with the medical system, which obviously my doctor sold me out, as well as another lady that she had sent me, who's a healer, who's connected to some pretty suspicious people who were into cryon and, all sorts of shit. But that's why I say I was being attacked by all these people who claim to really have your back, man. I've had therapists sell my information to the government. They violated my HIPAA privacy. I've had government send me fucking ops. So what is you saying? They know who the fuck I am, dog. They know why I'm here. You see? But fuck, like, somehow the message has to be spreaded. You can't keep stopping us. And this is why I said, take out their monitoring system, their artificial intelligence. You sitting here going on board with this shit, knowing that that's the very thing, the all-seeing eye, that they can sit here and control you through and monitor you. The revolution will not be televised for a reason. So you think we dumb enough to sit there and just hand ourselves over to you? Only those who don't know better. That's why they dry snitch on themselves. But honey, I have nothing to hide, because they want you to look a certain way, but I'm not that. And this is why I said, as long as you're not really out here hurting people like that, they can't use that against you. So they're the ones bringing terrorism in here to create fear, even though they spent all this money on NSA and ICE and security and this. That's bullshit. This is to keep us in and to monitor and take up rights. It's all about taking your freedom, boo. Taking more freedom. So if you allow these motherfuckers to allow United Nations globalists to deactivate your constitution, my people, this is how they can globalize us and get us part of the fucking New World Order. And this is why they needed to have pre-picked puppets who was already on board with the agenda. They just have to get you to buy it out. And that they got to put enough fear that you will sit here and just give in. Do we have to have these disasters and events? No, we don't, people. This is all part of their problem solution. Divide to conquer, order out of chaos. So these are all Masonic principles. If I were you, I'd destroy the 200 lodges, because any additional lodges that y'all even building in the black community aren't authentic lodges with authentic knowledge. Who gave you Masonry? England, honey. The monarchs. Your whole system is still based on England. Rather, even though republic and parliament, the government mimics the parliament and the republic. You speak the English language. You sat here and had ties to England. So, England, we were never freed by England. This is why you're still fucking celebrating 4th of July. I stopped celebrating that shit a long time ago when I knew that the British was slick, or the Queen wouldn't still be owning Canada at the time and owning all these little islands around it. So they were still profiting off the resource, even though you said they backed out of the war, the actual war that they had, the American Revolution. And this is what you need to understand, like, nothing is what it seems. They don't want you to question who is the Wizard of Oz behind the curtain pulling strings on the puppets. These are actors. They really don't have no power to do much. They just have to fit a narrative. And this is why the government should be for the people, ran by the people like it used to be. But if you can self-govern yourself, you wouldn't even need a government. Because if you take out the structure, then it's going to be what? Full-blown chaos. It's going to be anarchy. And then in that case, we going back to the law of the land, of nature, which is only the strong survive, right? Land of the fittest. And that's going to be cutthroat. This is why, it's all rigged. You see what I mean? And then, of course, it's controlled. So, no, Biden is not smart enough to run a country, and they know this, but this is why they use him, so you will be mad at him and you'll be distracted, just like the Romans did with the Colosseum. They sit here and took out your Hippocrates Oath, which is your human rights, when you go get medical care, and it guarantees that the doctor is going to practice ethically without his greed cofactor. And this is where, I don't trust going to hospitals and doctors, because I know they don't even give a damn. And because we are in depopulation 21, they really just quick to kill you now. When I sat there and confronted my doctor, she couldn't even look at me in the face. And then she's going to turn against me. I mean, that's just the way it is, because she knows what I was working on. She knows the shit I was working on. And that's one of the only people who would have sat there and obviously as well sold me out. Now, do I want to go pay her a visit? I mean, at this point, I don't really give a shit, as much as I am going to let them know that I know. Okay? Because I already told them, you either going to work with me or your whole system is going to fucking drop. I'm going to